Guys, I'm back. Recovery ride here for me today. Yesterday's workout. But I thought we could just do a video every now and then and talk about any topics, something I come up with, something you come up with. And yeah, together work it out. I can certainly give you my opinion on things like I will today regarding FTP, just because I happened to mention it yesterday. But take note, I'm no coach. This is just my own opinion, things that's worked for me. May work for you, may not. You might have a different opinion, by all means comment on it. And yeah, it's just interesting to see how you do it. But yeah, I find FTP is an interesting topic, and it's everywhere you look because all the online games base all the workouts on your FTP effort, and it's kind of a worldwide known value of your where you are in the scheme of things, I guess. So for any newbies or people that aren't quite sure, FTP, functional threshold power, basically means your power that you can, your average power that you can sustain for an hour, your maximum power. There's lots of other studies, I suppose, that mention things like your time to exhaustion over a period of 30 to 70 minutes. So, a few different versions of what it actually is or how long it goes for, I guess, but basically for this chat we'll just refer to it as hour power. I just find it an interesting topic. As I said, this is just my opinion, my view. But so the only reason I had to do an FTP test is to see improvement. If I've been working hard, if I haven't been training hard, or probably shouldn't expect to see anything, but if I've been working hard, I like to see improvement. And with indoor riding now, you can really replicate the last test. So same training, you calibrate the trainer, power meter, pick the same workout, you go on the same course. You can just do everything exactly the same. You can even sort of degree control your environment with fans, air cons, or heaters, but I don't think you need. But yeah, really reproducible conditions. So one, I do it to see improvement. Two is to set my future workouts to the correct intensity, so hopefully next time I do a test I've improved. But what I find funny, where I don't have it seriously, I guess, is for what it stands for, which is my hour power. I know how much these tests hurt. I've got no desire to ride on my limit for an hour. I never have, probably never will. That being said, I'm not saying that I haven't ridden hard for an hour. You know what the Zwift racing's like, or racing in the real world, chasing wheels and gaps and brakes. You go hard, your average power is going to be high. So if I happen to set a new power for an hour during the race, I'll just let that sit in training peaks and something to brag about with your friends, I guess. But when I refer to my FTP number, I have with no valid to say that I can ride like that for an hour. Probably could. I'd be wrecked for days. The other interesting thing is I suppose the different tests you can do, because if you've ever done an FTP test, you know what they're like. That's why a lot of people try to avoid them. But if you don't know what they are, or you're not completely destroyed at the end of one, you are probably not doing them right, because you should get to the end of them pretty empty. I think the testers are out there. Let's get some chats coming in. I've mainly used, thanks for the question, I've mainly used FTP. Okay, yeah, okay, I know what you mean. I've got that on my Garmin here actually. So we basically just had a question asking about a program called Exert you can put on your Garmin when you're out riding, or inside I guess as well. It just picks up your current FTP depending on your output that you're currently at. I have to admit I've had it installed and I've used it a little bit outside, but not tested it. I don't actually know how long it holds your value for. Like, I don't know if it looks at a number of rides overall, or whether it stores that or whether it's just your current ride. I'll have to have a look. I'm certainly happy to have a look and comment back to it and let you know. But probably haven't used it enough, but I definitely know what you're talking about. It does, okay. They're saying it keeps your historical data, so yeah, look, I'll tell you what, I will fire up the Garmin, not on this one because the average power is not going to be anything to write home about, but I'll start using it and we'll talk more on one stream and we'll see if it reads and see if I can upload some past rides. The last month or so it'll be really good. It's all in the Garmin, so I should pick it up. Not that I have the Garmin on during indoor rides, but it does. All my rides sync to Garmin, so all the data's there to try. In regards to the testing though, this is where I find it really interesting. We all pass FTP, we don't consciously know it, and we talk about it I guess, but it's your hour health. So no one wants to do that because it's just soul restricted. Even coaches won't necessarily get their athletes to do it because it's going to ruin a few days of training afterwards unless you're really elite and got amazing recovery. But this is the funny bit is, so we created a 20-minute test where you take 95% of your average power for the 20-minute interval. 95% is what you should be able to hold for an hour. And then even lots of people don't like doing that because it's, if you're serious about your training and your racing, and you do it, but most people will taper for it or get nervous before it, try and make all the conditions just right. Because it's, you are worried about the outcome, to let you know whether you've been wasting your time or not. FTP really is just setting where you are at the moment. Well, you always want it to go up. Sometimes it might go down. The closer you get to your peak, you're going to be small gains, really small gains. But say 20-minute test. Then we've got a 2x8 minute test as well, where this is more VO2 sort of work, but you will ride in the limits for 8 minutes with a 10-minute rest, and then another 8 minutes Depending on what platform you're on or what program you're following, you will, I know some of the other platforms you use, it'll combine the average power from both and times it by 90%, give you FTP. And some other platforms like to, or training coaches like to just take the highest number and just use that one, but they use the second 10-minute one to gauge either your recovery. Ideally, you should be within 5%. And so I go by the one where I take the highest when I do the 2x8, but I only take the highest if my other one is within 5%. So not only it's just a good gauge, I guess, to check your recovery. I think it's more realistic for Zwift racing to justify power outputs for shorter periods of time. But back to it. 2 by 8 minutes. So we've got an 8-minute or whatever. We've gone from 20 minutes to an 8. Then we've got a ramp test, which is really common among forms now. And it's because the majority of people, I guess, on these platforms are playing now. Just more for fun, exercise. Pretty serious, but it's to make the test less daunting, I guess. So ramp test, you start off, bit of a warm up. Every minute it'll go up either 20 watts or a percentage of your FTP, or if you've got a different approach on a different plan, you might go for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and increase different wattages, but it's basically increasing your wattage sort of every 1 to 2.5 minutes and to failure, which is I have done them, I've done a lot of them. I don't like them, I don't like coming to a grinding halt. It's just a psychological thing. I don't like not making it. It's like it's impossible to beat, that makes sense. But the interesting thing, what I wanted to talk about FTP, is a ramp test. Even if you're pushing as hard as you can, it's only going to really hurt maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So we've gone from our hour power, doing a 20-minute test to get our hour power. If you don't want to ride for an hour, play out. And we've got a 2x8, which will suit certainly riders like me. I'm more sort of anaerobic sort of bursts, but my 2x8 minute, 90%, pretty much spot on my 20 minute, 95%. So they work, they serve a purpose and everyone will have their own, but I just find it so interesting that now probably one of the most majorly used ones, the ramp test. It's for 5 minutes. We only want to hit for as little as possible to find out what our power is, but most people are never going to do. I find that a bit of a laugh at that. I don't know, let me know your thoughts. I'm interested to hear that. I should note too, when obviously I've just started these channels and social media and that just to get lockdowns in Australia. It's just, can't see friends, can't go for rides and just trying to stay in contact with everyone basically and have a bit of fun. But sending out some invites for friends Facebook to like the page that I've set up, which goes under the same name, if you like, which I thought funny. But I just couldn't believe how many riders that I'm linked with that are far better than I will ever be, and you still know who you are because you've worn green and gold at some stage. Past all credit. So, I hope they accept the invite and come on here and realise it's just for fun, but if we can get some of those ladies and gents checking in on some comments that we've talked about here and correcting us if we're wrong, or giving their own view. I'm not suggesting you do anything. This is just, as I said, not a coach. I'm not qualified to follow anything, but I have been riding for, I should say, on and off for 40 years, racing for almost all that time. I've raced when I was 7, last race last year, but after I come back from quite a few years old. Okay, let's talk numbers. Embarrassing, I guess, to start with. So I've only had a power meter since mid 2019. So before that, I was certainly off for a number of years, raising a family, all that kind of stuff. Work just gets in the road, I guess. Always linked to cycling, full on, but not training, racing. But I first video trainer, feel like I can. I'll show everyone. Did my first FTP test. Oh my lord! I come out with. I don't mind sharing numbers now, but normally I keep it private. I had 92 kilos and an FTP, a 20-minute power of 178, and now I am, let's say, 2 years on. I'm currently 73 kilos. I was 70 in February. Then, like motivation, visiting family is stepping way too well this month, and put a bit back on, but focused again now. But yeah, and my FTP currently low 340s, so it's impossible to judge where I was. I had a lot of newbie gains, and from Christmas until May, June sort of, there's no improvement, nothing. And started some, I'm not being coach, but I chatted with someone and got some programs, which some of these I'll upload. And yeah, seen some really good gains, like so having plateaued for so long, 6 months, which feels long, maybe it's not, depending on where your limit is, but picked up probably 20-25 watts in the last few months, which is amazing. I'll do some more videos on how to set your how to set Zwift up for racing, trainer difficulty and that sort of things, and the equipment that I use to help get every little bit out, every lot counts. But like it's all a bit of fun. Like I've seen people global, I would say, play doping and other things. I don't know how many ways you can cheat on Zwift, but kind of pointless, because you if you use Zwift power, you're not going to be in the actual official results of the race anyway. So I don't care if you deploy it 100 k's an hour, good luck to you. But it's anyway, just thought I'd have a quick chat on FTP and share my views. It's just, I think it's funny how we always refer to it, what it actually means. It means you're 1 hour power, but I don't know. I should clarify, like, you've got time trialists and triathletes that will do that distance by themselves in far longer. So It's absolutely has its place, valid, and the riders out there that probably train just for it. But for the majority, I grew up being more of a track rider, so I worried about races between 200 metres and 2,000 metres long, so my races are normally over and done with within a few minutes, as long as I cared about it anyway. So, and now this is, I've lost my top end punch, but it's just fun to see where I can go with my fitness levels now, being mid-40s. It's just good fun to just really push and get. It's interesting for me, I suppose, because I'm fitter than I ever have been. So it's, as long as I'm trying to get back to somewhere where I wasn't. So it's a real driver for me, but the goal is to get back down to 70 at least. I would definitely go lower than if I'm disciplined enough with the diet, to be honest. So I'll say this right now, you cannot out-train a bad guy. Cannot do it. Let's get another question in. Okay. Why do people talk FTP rather than talking watts per kilo? Good question. You know, that mean much when weight plays a massive part when you're actually capable of really. Yeah, so good question. So why do people talk FTP rather than watts per kilo? I guess you've got opposing forces in cycling. You've got air resistance, which is your major factor to overcome from about 15 k's per hour onwards. So if you've got a completely calm day and you reach 15 k's an hour, where you've got a 10 km per hour headwind and you're moving 5 k's, give or take, don't quote me on this, give or take around 15 k's an hour, wind resistance becomes your biggest obstacle to overcome. Then you've got gravity is your other big one. Then you've got like rolling resistance and all that sort of stuff, but they're more minor compared to gravity and aerodynamics. So where you sort of talk about lightweight bikes versus aero bikes. When you're, I think it's around from 6% climb onwards is where weight really comes into it. So what I should say is when you're going up a climb where you're basically travelling less than, say, 15 k's an hour, weight and gravity is obviously playing a major part then, but I'm not sure what, I suppose most people don't realise, unless you're really serious about like watts per kilo, that's even the way we refer to it. A lot of people probably won't know about it, people that are just jumping on Zwift for a bit of fun, but to do an FTP test to make the workouts work, so that's probably why most people talk about it. It's more widely recognised term, I guess. You can see your watts per kilo on the side of Zwift, but they probably doesn't mean much to them, but it's just the amount of what you can put out per kilogram of body weight, and when you're going uphill, it plays a massive amount. So to give you an idea, the amount of weight that I lost since I started training again is pretty much the weight of a Wahoo kicker trainer. So I cannot even imagine putting that in a bag on my back and trying to climb a hill. It's very different, I suppose, than the weight distributed over your body. That's a serious amount of weight, so that's why it slows you up a fair bit. When you, with FTP, you haven't got any incline to worry about. Outright power wins. That's the reason track riders are just massive brutes, is they never have to go up. Huge power they can put out. Same with time trialists. You get some really good time trialists, maybe in Cantalara, doesn't like the hills. Not many time trialists do, unless you're one of the best at your Grand Tours, but it's a matter of getting really on the flat, it's just more watts, and as long as you're aero, I don't think a lot of people realise how much aerodynamics play a part. Like, I read a really good study online where, I don't know if it was for, sorry, but it was a scientific study, and it had an average male rider, and they classed that as 75 kilos, and they didn't name a height, so I'm 169 centimetres, so 9 to 5'7", but maybe just under. Tallest man in the world, but 75 kilos average height, and it just shows you the watts needed to reach certain speeds in the same position on the bike. And it's pretty accurate because at 300 watts, the subject was doing around 39 to 40 k's an hour. And I'm not sure if hardcore gets asked the question. I'm not sure what your weight or height or capabilities are, but for 75 kilos, average size guy, let's say, I don't know, 5, 8, 9, 10, I don't know what average is, doing 300 watts, 40 k's an hour. That kind of makes sense. Some of the races I've been in, some of the bunches, out in the real world this is, you'll get to the finish. Obviously the bunches I've ridden in, we're doing probably just over 300, and we average 43, 44, 45, whatever k's an hour for a race. But for that same person, to where the wind resistance, the faster you go, the harder it gets. For that same rider in the study, to go 50 k's an hour, you had to put out between 595 and 600 watts. So basically, let's just round it off. To go from 40 k's an hour to 50 k's an hour, they had to double their wattage. So that's why most serious amateurs and people that take the training race serious will definitely be able to ride at 40 k's an hour for a period of time. Might not be long, but they'll be able to do it. But to ride at 50 k's an hour, it's just not going to happen, because you've got the absolute youngs in the Grand Tours, like Philip O'Connor at the moment, Ed Cancellara, Roglic. They're getting super aero, and they go just over 50 k's an hour for these time trials. But it's the aerodynamics, and they're not, on the longer time trials, they're not putting out, they'll be in the 400s. Like Philip O'Connor, which is probably the biggest power guy at the moment, and then most of the, especially the prologue and everything he goes in, I think he pulls like 500s for short prologue distances, sort of like 6 to 10 k's. That's just massive watts. You just can't do that very long. Look at some of the world hour records. I suppose one of the ways looked at. I don't know why they keep referring to this one all the time, in particular at Bradley Wiggins, where he done, they say average around 440 watts. His hour record. That gives you an idea. Jump on a bike and try and ride 440 watts for as long as you can. That's not easy. But hopefully that's answered your question a bit. It's the FTP, it's more widely known and used for the tests. And watts per kilo is really weight. I suppose when you're sitting on an indoor trainer, you don't notice your weight, because when you get to a hill on Zwift, you just go slowly. You don't necessarily have to pedal hard unless you're trying to catch up with a bunch. So if you go out in the real world and try and climb a hill, you're going to just be looking for gears and you know your weight comes into play. You can't get away from it. Very, very different online, that's for sure. Yeah, so you're right, it's like FTP is just a number. Like at the end of the day, like I said, I use it for improvement because I can really reproduce the test. And I'm only ever going to do an FTP test if I've been working hard and I see where I'm at, or I haven't done anything for ages and I need to know where to start. Other than that, as I said, you'll know if you're doing an FTP test probably because you'll be just destroyed at the end of it. You should be. But yeah, so, and yeah, to gauge the oncoming, you don't want to be going in every day setting different zones for every single workout. So the other reason is that it sets all your zones for your upcoming workouts. But yeah, it's just an interesting topic and I appreciate the questions. But yeah, it's just, we just want to do shorter and shorter tests to know what our power is that we're never ever going to do. Most of us. So yeah, funny topic. But by all means, I'll keep streaming, hopefully most days on here. Getting the recovery rise, like I'm not meant to be doing anything today, but sometimes an active recovery is good just to turn the legs over. It just feels so good. Then we'll hopefully get into some product reviews. As I said, some videos on so many topics to talk about. So on the recovery days when I can actually breathe and talk, we will talk some stuff. Any topic you want, like I said, it's my own opinion. It's no qualified offer advice, but hopefully all these will get synced across to the YouTube and start a Facebook page, which I'm about to, just because I've got heaps of contacts already that will help me get the YouTube up and going. I've just got so many contacts on Facebook, so hopefully between that and this and some other social media, get a bit of a following and answer some questions and just give you my opinion if you're awesome. So. I thought it was just saying that's why I use it, so you don't have to do a test. Smart, very smart. I can appreciate where you're coming from. Actually looking forward to having a go at it. I've got it set up as a single page on the Garmin, so I've got to swap across and it's there, so it'll be interesting to see. The person I bought some of the plans off that I use now offered to put all my data through WK5, so it's just to get a bit more, if you're not familiar with that, it's just a better analysing tool. It's usually training peaks. Because I've got to get back into some serious races, I might take him up, but to be honest, happy with the games at the moment. I can keep it going. I'd love another 10 watts. So 10 watts, it's amazing. I just need another 10 watts and drop a few kilos to get down to me 5 watts a kilo, but FTP. But if you just tried to pedal at 10 watts, you almost couldn't do it. It's like, it's nothing. You can't even find it. But when you got to try and add 10 watts on top of 340 or 50, it's impossible to find. I love it. Anyway, you'll certainly see all the tests and the races and everything coming up. I normally do, hopefully, this article is nice enough to be shading here. Hopefully you can come across and find, I'm not sure if I've been set Twitch up yet with some other links. I'll have a look if I can. Just follow me on here and I'll put, later today, if I haven't, I'll put YouTube and the links, Facebook links and that on on here as well. It's certainly on YouTube one. But then I normally do, like sort of a 3-week load, 1 sort of week recovery, and then a week of sort of a race, a rest, just to try and look at the rankings on Zwift. But I've only done maybe less than 20 races on Zwift, but I've been pretty lucky with some good results. Once again, it only matters if you're on Zwift Power and you're trying to get points. I'm not really chasing it because the current points last for a fair while. So to race sort of 3 or 4 races every 4 weeks is sort of all I'm happy with at the moment. I don't like to worry too much about trying to go well in a race, so I don't like having too many rest days. Like, you need rest days to build, but sometimes it feels like a wasted opportunity when I could be sort of working towards better improvements. But I don't necessarily at the moment anyway. I don't race heaps. I like the structure of the workout, that sort of thing. So if I want to work on my ranking, then I need to race them. So once again, up to me. We'll have a think and do something, see what happens going forward. Be interesting when all these lockdowns finish in Australia. Anyway, whereabouts are you from, Michael? Are you local or Sydney? Oh, very good. I'm currently in Sydney's lockdown as well. Probably seen you rolling around Centennial. It's all fun and games. Actually, fun and games. Until you're doing a test, then it's not fun. But I have, once again, talked forever. This is going to be a recovery ride and a bit of a chat about what I think, us referring to our Michael, because none of us want to do it. But yeah, I hope that I can get some comments on some of the pages about things you want to talk about, or I'm thinking about some of the programs that do. I've been given the okay to share any of it if I want, so I can certainly, well, I guess I can, put the ZWO file into some comments at some stage. I'll see if that's what people want to do. As I said, very easy to create your own workout, but if you can just drop this in your workout folder in your documents folder, just in the Zwift folder, workouts, it'll just pop up in your Zwift account and be set to your FTP, and you can be doing the same workout and hopefully get some good gains for yourself. But I'll see. I think we get some decent, like a few followers on here. I'll see. Obviously, you can stream to here, YouTube, and Facebook. Not all at once, unless you get a bit more technical. But see where the most followers end up. This is a very new one for me, being on Twitch. I've seen it in other videos, so I'm hoping that everyone who watches those videos will watch these videos, and yeah, hopefully just give a different perspective on interesting topics, yeah. Hopefully the audio on this one's working okay. I did a video yesterday. Sort of the first one I had to record it streaming here, and audio was terrible. I think my voice was a bit too quiet. So I was using a webcam mic instead of the desktop, and I had a gain volume and Zwift turned all the way up, so I like that. Basically turned it off, you know. A little bit of music from Twitch going, so hoping the volume is pretty low, so you can hear my voice all right. If you want to comment, pause and let me know if it's out coming through, it would be great. So I know whether I need to turn the mic up, the music down or off. I'm recording this as well, so which I'll edit and upload. I know I can sync straight to YouTube or Facebook from Twitch, but because the audio doesn't save, other than my voice, and because we're going for upwards of an hour, probably not lots of fun for someone to watch, so I normally throw a bit of music from my own onto it instead of just the generic stuff from YouTube. I find it's a lot better to edit and get it right on the desktop than trying to edit and make YouTube do its processing here, so it takes forever. Well, I'm going to keep going for a bit, I'll probably avoid you and after. So yeah, when you're watching this after this stream, by all means like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook page as well. Like I said, I've got some Instagram and Twitter type stuff happening, but it's just set up, it's not populated yet. I'll try and see if I'm going to keep doing this regardless, but if we can get a bit of a following, we'll keep it going and hopefully an answer questions. And if I don't have an answer, I'll be honest, tell you and find out for you. Either get back to you one-on-one or just do it in the next video and answer any questions maybe right at the start of the next one. If it's going to work, we'll work it out going forward. Alright. Well, say bye for now. That's my view on FTP. So, enjoy, train hard, and catch you in the next one. Cheers.